Welcome everyone. Today's topic is hottest and most profitable Illinois flipping markets. Okay, so I'm super excited to tell you where those markets are and how to make a killing when you leverage from the most profitable flipping markets. Okay, so friends, let me ask you this. How would you like to make a 60,000 net profit on a flip? How would you like that? Yeah, right? I'm gonna show you how to do it. So let's dive into it, and then we're gonna reverse engineer how it worked out and why, okay? But first of all, I'm gonna show you how this happened, okay? So let's open up ChicagoDealVault, and then I'm going to do a search on this property. It's 4722 South Kedville, okay, in Chicago. So this is a property that we made a flip on, making a little bit over 60,000, okay? So let's just look at the listings right here. And then I just wanna show you how long it took, how much we made, and then we'll take a deep dive, reverse engineer the entire process, okay? Because this is how most people see things. Whoa, 60,000, but they never explain how to get from point A to point Z, right? It's a big black hole for everyone. Well, I'm gonna show you step by step how to make this kind of money on a flip, okay? So we bought this property for 120,000. Okay, it's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,100 square feet. Okay, so we bought it back in 2017 June. Okay, end of June, and then we sold it. Let me show you right here in December for 230. So as you can see, there's a spread of between 120 and 230. There's a spread of 110,000. Now the question is, how much money did we put into the property? How much were we thinking about selling the property? How much was the rehab, and was the rehab under budget or over budget? So very simple. We have a spread of 110,000, okay? And the rehab was only $35,000, okay? So just do the math. 120 plus 35, that's 155, okay? 155. Now you take 230 minus 155 is $75,000. But obviously we had to pay our broker, selling commission, closing expenses. So we needed about 60,000, okay? So the question is, how do you do that? Let me show you. We're gonna go into the details of how you do it. First of all, when we saw this property, okay, you need to know 3 things. Am I gonna buy it at the right time? That's question number 1. Question number 2, how much money do I need to put into the property? And finally, question number 3, how much am I gonna be able to sell it for? Okay, that's it. So check this out. As soon as we saw the property in ChicagoDealVault, we give you all the numbers right in front of you. I'm gonna point to the 3 numbers that you need to know. That's it. So first of all is, how much can we sell it for? Right here. ARV 230 to 255, okay? Second of all, how much are we gonna put in rehab? So rehab estimate, DealVault told us that it was gonna be about 20 to 30,000. Well, it went over budget. It was 35. Actually, I wouldn't say over budget. ChicagoDealVault just calculated this rehab based on light to medium rehab, okay? But there's always unexpected items that arise from the rehabs. So you always need to have a cushion of 5 to 10,000, okay? So we spent about 35,000 on the rehab. Now, the big question is, so far I have two key numbers: how much I can sell it for, how much my rehab is going to be, and the third big question is, how much should I pay for the property? Right here, this is your max allowed offer. The most you should offer on a flip should be 146,000, okay? For a rental, 171,000. So remember what I've told you in the past. Even if you're gonna do a rental, you always need to strive to pay the flip price. So I saw 145, I need to pay no more than 145, but remember, I need to add a cushion on my rehab. So I'm gonna add a cushion of 5 to 10,000. So knock off 5 to 10,000 from the 146, okay? So if I do that, how much is that? I'm just gonna show you here so that you visually see the numbers. So 45 is my max allowed offer for a flip. But remember, I need to put a cushion into the rehab of 5 to 10,000. So I'm gonna do 10,000. So the most I should pay for the property is 135. Nothing more, nothing less. That's about it. Guess how much this property was for sale? Look at this. Original listing price, 113. Guys, this was an MLS deal, 113,000. But yet, DealVault is telling me the most I should pay is 135. So what do you think I did? Jump on it, right? So the first thing that I went to look at on the MLS is I scroll down because the numbers look good. And then on the right panel, you just look at the map, okay? On the map, you need to make sure that location, 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 right, is so critical. So here on the map, let me show you. You want to make sure that you are not nowhere near a busy street, near cemeteries, rivers, highways, airports, train tracks, commercial strips, none of that stuff, okay? Just by looking at these, it qualifies. So just to take it a step further, what I did was I opened this in the street map. So I click on the street map. Let me scroll up on my screen, street view. So I just wanted to see what the street looked like, okay? So I see a lot of 2 flats, and then the subject property is right here. So let me go to the left. I don't know why it's, oh, it's right here, this one. The one that we're looking right next to, behind the car. Okay, it's right here. That is a property. So overall, that's the property right there. Overall, what I wanted to see, it's just a bungalow, brick. Look at these beautiful bungalow bricks. But what I wanted to check is the street, right? Does it look okay? It looks absolutely fine, okay? So what do you think my next step was? Jump on it right away. If DealVault is telling me the most I should pay is 135, and I see the property is on the market for 113,000. So my next question is, something must be wrong with the property, right? Because the broker who listed the property must be pretty smart, right? Either he's trying to list it for less so that he gets above asking price offers, or what's going on? So the next step is to go into the details, right? You want to look at the description, right? Not only that, but also look at the agent's remark, okay? I just wanted to see if there was like a fire, if this was a good rehab, if this was like a bit of property, right? And then we would skip it. I just wanted to find out why it was in such a low price in the MLS. But as you can see, it's brick bungalow. If you see the description of it, nowhere does it say that it's a tear-off, that it's a burnt property, that it has flooding issues, that it has major problems. Nowhere does it say, okay, in the description. So the next thing is, we've got to jump on it. So I look at the listing agent. So the selling office, the listing agent was Koya Smith. Let me tell you, Koya Smith is the mother of Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith is the top REO broker in Illinois. And he happens to be part of DealVault, okay? So right away, when I saw his name, I mean, I saw Koya Smith, right? That's his mother. His mother is the managing broker. I picked up the phone, I called him, I said, hey, Ryan, how are you? This is Hugo from DealVault. I'm interested in your listing at 4722 South Ketville. Where do we need to be to get in on the contract? And he said, Hugo, make an offer for 120 and then dual agency. I said, you got it. So now let me tell you, he listed the property for 113. He said, make an offer for 7,000 on top of my listing price for 120,000. Who cares, right? Why? Because we knew that the most we should pay was 135. He's asking me for 120, and the property is not a good rehab. It just needs light to medium rehab, right? So it was like a no-brainer. The second thing that he wanted to do is he wanted to keep the entire commission, right? So Chicago DealVault, we're a brokerage. Right here, Home First Realty, we are, myself, I'm a managing broker, so I can represent myself in the transaction and collect half of the commission, right? However, in this transaction, Ryan said, Hugo, I need to keep 100% of the commission, which if you think about it, the entire commission on this transaction is about 6%, right? So he's gonna keep for sure 3% as the listing agent, and then he wanted to keep the other 3%. So friends, do the math. What's 3% of 120,000? It's $3,600. So imagine, if I was to give up 3,000 in exchange for getting this deal, it was like a no-brainer, right? I said, Ryan, you got it. But everything was based off of DealVault, right? So I had my max allowed offer, 145, minus my cushion of 10,000, because remember, the rehab is 20 to 30, but you always have to have a cushion of 5 to 10,000. So I needed to knock down the offer by 5 to 10,000, my cushion, right? So the most I could offer was 135. He wanted to sell the property for 120. And, you know, after looking at the property, I mean, it didn't need more than, in my eyes, more than 30,000, but it went over. It was 35,000. So we ended up closing on the property on June 30th for 120,000, right? So now the next question is, first of all, you've got to grasp the deal, okay? Because when you buy a property, paying the flip price, in fact, look at this, wholesale price. We paid less than the wholesale price. So you could do anything with this property. I mean, you only have 3 options, right? Either you wholesale it, you flip it, or you hold it. That's it. When you get the property for such a low price, guess what? Your 3 exit strategies are readily available to you, okay? That's the power of identifying great deals. And mind you guys, this is an MLS deal. So a lot of people I know complain that it's saturated, right? It's very competitive, but guess what? You cannot afford to ignore the MLS. It is that simple. We focus primarily on off-market properties because that's where the biggest spread is. But this is a clear example, friends. You can still find amazing deals in the MLS. That is why in ChicagoDealVault, you can even set up alerts, okay? Under the user settings, here, deal alerts. Make sure that you set up your deal alerts, okay? Very simple, single family homes, put the price range, and then put all the cities. Very simple, and then we are going to send you the alerts. So this came to us via a deal alert from DealVault, okay? Set up your alerts, it's totally worth it, okay? So now, the next step is, fine, now we got it on the contract for 120,000. So the next question is, what are we gonna do, right? So think about this. Real estate, the power of real estate is to buy and hold properties, okay? That is true wealth. But this was a very, very appealing property to do a flip for two reasons. First of all, because we bought it for a great price, and second of all, because this property is in an incredible flipping neighborhood. Now you might wonder, okay, Hugo, back off. How do you know that this property, I'm gonna click on map view, Archer Heights. How do you know Archer Heights is in an amazing flipping neighborhood or market? Well, very simple. We already analyzed over 300 neighborhoods, suburbs in Illinois. And we know to the penny whether it's a great flipping market, whether it's a great rental market, or both. That's simple. So what I wanted to do next is, once we got it on the contract, I said, I want to find out more about Archer Heights. Is this a great place for rentals? Is this a great place for flips? Because let me tell you, when I got the property on the contract, I was super excited to get it on the contract for that amount, bungalow, brick, in a good neighborhood, that I was thinking, well, I don't care. We could do a flip, we could do a rental or a wholesale. Whatever we do, we're gonna be making money. That's it. So my next step was, fine, now we have this property, what are we gonna do next? It's not eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? Grab the tiger by the toes. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. It's a science. Real estate is a science. So all I had to do, check this out. It took me seconds to find out whether Archer Heights was a great flipping market or rental market. So I went to area reports, right here, area reports, and then I type in Archer, search, and then right here, I want to pull up the report, right? So this is just going to give me all the details about the area, but I didn't care about all the details. I just cared. I wanted to know, should I flip or should I rent in Archer Heights? So what I did is I scroll down to the bottom, to the middle of the report. Okay, so I skipped all these. I went to the nuts and bolts of these, which happens to be in the sales market analysis. Okay, let me scroll down. Right here, sales market analysis in the last 12 months. The only thing that I looked at was one and only one thing, and that was the months of housing supply. So this is a single family home, right? So we have detached. Attached, those are condos, duplexes, townhomes, and 2 to 4. So I focus on detached, months of housing supply, 1.02. I was like, whoa, I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, this is an incredible flipping market. And then you might wonder, well, wait a minute, Hugo. What does 1.02 mean? What does this tell you? It doesn't tell me anything. Let me explain what it means. What it means is that, let me explain what makes a great flipping market. A great flipping market is a market where properties are selling very fast, okay? Faster than what properties are coming up for sale. So what happens where, think about this. Let's assume that you have a pool of 10 properties in one area, just 10 properties, but you're selling 3 properties every month. So the question is, how long would it take before you run out of inventory, assuming there are no new properties for sale coming into the market? So you have 10 properties and every month you're selling 3. So it's going to take about 3 months before you run out of inventory, right? A little bit over 3 months. So a great flipping market is a market where you are going to run out of inventory in 2.5 months or less. Does that make sense? So think about this. Imagine, just going back to the example, you have 10 properties in, let's say, Archer Heights, and you are selling 5 properties every month. So in 2 months, you're going to run out of the inventory. So that means that people really want to move into the neighborhood. They really want to buy into it. They're moving into that location, right? So it's a great flipping market because your property is going to go like hotcake. It's going to sell quickly. So when I saw one, it's going to take 1 month before you run out of the entire inventory, I was like, well, it's a no-brainer to do a flip because think about this. Imagine Archer Heights has, going back to the example, 10 properties for sale. And in every month in Archer Heights, 10 properties are selling. So it's going to take 1 month before you run out of inventory in Archer Heights. Does that make sense? When I saw the one, I was like, whoa, this is going to be a flip. No questions. For as much as I love rentals, this is a home run flip. I said, we're just going to do the rehab. We have great contractors. And then we're going to put it on the market. And I expect to sell the property in, you guessed it right, 4 weeks. Because DealVault is telling me that in 1 month, the entire supply of properties in Archer Heights is going to be gone. So do you see how excited I was to do a flip? Is this making sense, friends? Before I continue, is this making sense so far? Let me pull up the chat. I want to make sure that you're fully understanding this. Is this making sense for everyone? There's a question on the chat. Yes, everything is, so far it's making sense. Perfect, okay? So now Debbie's asking, what type of market is this? How far away from train and so forth, okay? So this is, I believe, a C+ area. Let me see, yeah, it's a C+ area. The cool thing is that this is an upcoming area. It's near Midway Airport. For some reason, the properties are selling like hotcakes, right? So let's go back to the properties. So we bought it for $120. I knew a flip was a no-brainer. So I said to my wife, Frida, what if we just spend maybe a couple of $1,000 cleaning the property and then we put it in the MLS right away to see what happens? And she said, sure. I mean, we have nothing to lose, right? We already own the property. We do very little, just clean up 1,000-2,000 and then put it back on the MLS and see what happens. That is called wholetailing. I'm gonna put it on the chat so that you all understand what's that called. So wholetailing, right there. I just put it on the chat, okay? What that means is that I'm not wholesaling the property because wholesale means that you have not bought the property. You just have the property on the contract and you are reassigning the rights of that contract to a cash buyer, okay? But we had already bought the property. So our next option was to put it on the MLS, do nothing, and see what happened. So that's what we did. Okay, so we put it on the MLS for 157,000. Okay, so that is 37,000 on top of what we paid for. We just wanted to test the waters. So as you can see, days on the market, it was on the market for 8 days, right? So we left it out there for 8 days to see what it would happen. And guess what? Nothing happened. We had some showings, but it needed some work. So people there want to buy a house that it's already rehab. They just want to move into the property. They don't want to do the work. They're willing to pay top dollars to have a rehab property. So I told Frida, you know what? Let's just do the work. Let's take it off the market and do the work, okay? So we took it off the market and we did the rehab. It took us about probably month and a half, 2 months to do the work. The most expensive ticket item that was unexpected is that we needed to do the entire dock work and put new mechanicals. That was totally unexpected. That was a little bit over 10,000. So that is why you always have to have a cushion. So we finished the rehab, and that was like in the winter, okay? We bought it in the summer. We were monkeying around with the property for a little bit, not you know, trying to do the wholesaling when we finally decided to do the work. So we started to do the work in the winter, and then let me show you the end result. So this is the property. I'm gonna show you the pictures. Okay, let me close these. I wanna show you that one, the 230. So here, I'm gonna show you the pictures. Look at the kitchen. Okay, so the cabinets were the same. We just painted the cabinets, new appliances. We redid the floor, so we refinished the floor. The advantage of this property was that it had hardwood floors. So all we needed to do was refinish the floors, and then we just painted the property. The windows were in good shape. The bathrooms, we just clean up. Oh, here we did the vanity in the bathroom. And then another vanity in the bathroom. There were 2 bathrooms indeed. And then flooring, painting, and that's about it. The high ticket item, again, was the mechanicals. As you can see, it looks pretty nice, and it's got a full basement, okay? Basement is very attractive. 2-car garage. So it was just like a home run deal when we bought it. So what I did is, we're a managing broker, right? So I can put it on the MLS. I knew we could sell the property for about 230 to 240, right? So I was thinking to myself, well, I could put it on the MLS maybe for, because we want to sell it quick, right? We want to put it on the MLS for maybe, I would say 235, 240, and then try to sell it quick, right? But then I was thinking to myself, we're DealVault, right? We have to leverage from our top partners, key industry players. So I picked up the phone and then I called Frank Montreux. He's the king of the South. He's our preferred broker. So I said, hey, Frank, do me a favor. We got this property, we rehab. Can you sell it for me? Because I want to make sure that you get us top dollars, okay? I want top dollars for this property. He said, sure, Hugo, I'm gonna go swing by the property, check it out. I'll take these. And sure, I can help you sell it. Everyone else does. So I said, cool. So he went to the property and he said, Hugo, it looks really good. However, we need to do a little bit landscaping on the front, and then you've got to paint the stairs. So this is not the latest picture. We ended up painting the stairs gray, and we did a little bit of landscaping. So minor details that he recommended, okay? So we went ahead and do that. And then I said to Frank, hey, Frank, how much are you gonna sell it for? How much are you gonna put it on the market for? And he said, Hugo, I'm gonna list it for 250. I was like, whoa, 250. I show him DealVault ARV. I said, it's going to sell between 225 to 248. He said, Hugo, leave it up to me, right? So you call me because I'm the expert. So leave it up to me. I'm going to make you money and I'm going to sell it for top dollars. Trust me. I've been in the business for 37 years. So if there's somebody who knows something, it's me. I said, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to micromanage. And that is the reason why I call you, Frank. Run the show. Do your magic. Give me a full price offer. So he did his magic. He put it on the MLS and so forth. And then guess what? He put it on the MLS for $249. I just couldn't believe that, right? Because let me tell you, when you put a property on the MLS and it's overpriced, guess what? You can burn the listings. What it means is that when people see that the property is overpriced, they're going to skip it. They're not going to even going to see the property, right? So it could be risky, but he knew what he was doing. He put it for $249, and guess what? He got an offer for $230. If I had listed the property, I was going to list it maybe for $235, not even $240. Do you think I was going to get an offer for $230? No way. I was going to get an offer for maybe $215 to $220. So I was going to leave a lot of money on the table. Instead, I hired Frank to do what he's good at, what he's best at, okay? So do the math again. We made about 60, a little bit over 60,000. The question is, how many days? Not months, not years. How many days? 22 days. Okay, guys? So do you see the power? We're reverse engineering the process. DealVault is telling you that this is an incredible flip market, okay, for detached homes, because the entire inventory is going to run out in 1 month. Sure enough, we got it sold in 3 weeks, making at least $60,000, okay? So I just gave you step-by-step process, friends, on how you can replicate these, right? So then you might wonder, well, I want to do flips, right? I'm excited about flips. What are those flipping markets? Again, in DealVault, you have the option, very simple, just to put in the area type, A, B, C, let's say B, and then give me all the flipping markets right here. And then click on search. Let me remove Archer. And then search, clear, I need to clear it. B, areas, and then flip markets. Boom, right there. So we're going to give you all the flip markets right there. Not only that, but for those of you who are members of DealVault, we are going to send us an email, and we're going to email you these spreadsheets. So what we've done is, I wanted to know, give me all the top flipping markets in the city. Give me all the top flipping markets in the suburbs. Give me all the top flipping markets by asset type, meaning condos and single family homes. Because remember, mind you, it's a big different market. You cannot do flips for single family homes the same as condos in the same market. Let me just quickly show you that. If we go back to the report right here, look at the months of housing supply for condos. 4.8. So it's going to take you 5 months before you can sell a condo in Archer Heights. But it's going to take you 1 month to sell a single family home. Does that make sense? Are you following? So you've got to really look at these months of housing supply. Okay, it is so critical to understand if it's a flipping market or if it's not a flipping market. So I have a couple of spreadsheets that I'm going to share with you. So these are the spreadsheets that I love, right? So here are the top. I'm going to show you this one first. These are the top flipping suburbs right here. And then, so you can see right here, the number of flips for attached. These are for condos, townhomes, duplexes, so Downers Grove. And this is an A area, right? So if you're thinking about doing flips for condos, your top flipping market, A market, is Downers Grove, okay? And the cool thing is that the entry barrier, the median purchase price is less than 100,000. So no wonder a lot of people want to be in an A area paying a little bit over 100,000 for a rehab property that is attached, so meaning a condo. So right here we have them: Palatine, Skokie, Oaklawn, Arlington Heights, Lombard, Oak Park, Buffalo Grove, Mount Prospect, Wheeling, and so forth. So these are the top flipping markets for attached properties, okay, like condos, townhomes, and so forth. And right here on the orange column, we're telling you how many flips have happened in the last 12 months. So Downers Grove, Palatine, Skokie, top 3 flipping markets for condos in the suburbs. And then you can go to the next sheet on Excel. And then here, we're gonna give you exactly the same information, but for the city, okay? So what are the top flipping neighborhoods in Chicago? Right here. Number 1, Loop, with 435 flips for condos, okay? And then you have near South Side, near North Side, so pretty much like A areas, okay? A areas. So right here, Lakeview, Edgewater, Lincoln Park, Uptown, North Center, Logan Square, West Ridge, Hyde Park, Lincoln Square. So these are all the top flipping neighborhoods in the city. Please send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault, and we're gonna make this available to all our DealVault members, okay? Now let me show you the other spreadsheet. And friends, we pretty much extracted this spreadsheet from DealVault, okay? So now this is, again, top flipping markets for attached and detached properties in the city and in the suburbs right here, okay? So please make sure that you send us an email, and then we'll make sure that you have this in your inbox, okay? But it's pretty much coming from DealVault. The only thing is that we put everything into a spreadsheet, because some people, they just like to see everything in one page. So that is why we extracted the data, put it in a simple, easy to read spreadsheet for you to fully understand all the flipping markets. Now, I want to mention something. Right now, it's not the time to do flips because most villages are closed, which means that you won't be able to get permits. You won't be able to get pre-sale inspections, okay? So people are not going out to see properties. They're staying home. Therefore, your flip is going to sit on the market for quite some time. Right now is not the best time to do flips. You just need to be ready when to pull the trigger to do a flip. When things open up, back up, please, you can do flips. Right now, your flip is gonna be on the market for many, many weeks, potentially months, okay? Because of the current crisis. So right now, please, hold off on your flips. In fact, we have one property that we got caught in the middle of the crisis, so we couldn't pull all the permits. Therefore, we cannot do any work in the property. Therefore, we're losing carrying cost, all the expenses that go with holding a property, vacant property. So please be very, very cautious. If you already finished the rehab on a flip, please don't put it on the market, put it under temp status, like temporary off the market. It's not gonna count towards the total market time. That's something that MRED has is going to do for all investors or sellers. So please put it off the market until things reopen, because right now people are not seeing your property. Unless they see it physically, they won't buy the property. So put it on temp and then hold off on flips for now. Stick to rentals. Right now is the time to do rentals. Now there's a question on the line. Can you explain wholesaling again? Okay, so wholesaling means that you buy the property, you do nothing or very little, and then you put it back on the MLS. That's simple, okay? So you're not rehabbing the property, you are not assigning the rights of the contract because you already bought it. So you have the title of the property. So you're just reselling the property without doing anything or very little, and then you use the MLS. That's wholesaling, okay? Now there's another question. Can you clarify, so in 1 month, all the inventory will be gone? Or does it mean the average time on the market is 1 month? No, in 1 month, the entire inventory is gonna be gone with the assumption that there are no new properties coming into the market. That's simple, which is different from the total market time. So let me show you the total market time. Right here, if you scroll down, I see total market time is right here. Sold market time in number of days, 75 days. So typically, properties can stay on the market up to 75 days, 2 months, 2.5 months, okay? When you try to sell a single family home in Archer Heights. But the months of housing supply supersedes that. Does that make sense? Why? Because there are not enough properties on the market for sale. So the very few properties that are still on the market for sale, boom, they're selling like hotcakes, right? So the months of housing supply is one of the most important metric you've got to understand. And then in the report, we show you how we compute that, right? So the way you compute that is the number of active listings, which is right here. You see not too many, 5, only 5 listings divided by the absorption rate. Absorption rate is how quickly properties are selling on a monthly basis. So absorption rate is computed by the number of sold properties, in this case, 59 by 12. So it tells you that how many properties are selling on a monthly basis. So 59 sold in the last 12 months. How many are selling every single month? So you divide 59 by 12, and that is 5 properties every single month. But if you have only 5 properties active for sale, then it takes just 1 month before you run out of inventory. Does that make sense? That is the explanation of months of housing supply. And guess what? Most investors do not even have a clue of what the months of housing supply is. I mean, they've never heard of it. And guess what? And they want to do flips. So guess what happens? They lose a lot of money. They leave a lot of money on the table because they try to do a flip on a rental market, or they try to do a flip for an attached home when you should be doing a flip for a single family home in a given neighborhood. You've got to look at the statistics, at the numbers. Real estate is a numbers game. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to know how much to pay for the property, how much your rehab is going to be, and how much you're going to sell it for. And before even you buy the property, you know already how long it's going to stay on the market, what's the months of housing supply, which tells you how quickly you're going to be able to sell the property, depending on the property type, if it's a single family home or attached home, okay? It is just like, think about this. For those of you who have played blackjack or poker, okay, there are cheat sheets for it, okay? When you get a certain number of cards, you either double down, you hold, you pass, or you get another one. Does that make sense? Real estate is exactly the same, okay? It's a science of numbers. And we give you all the numbers. We want to make sure that you never, ever overpay for a property, okay? We want to make sure that if you're thinking about doing flips, that you do flips in the right neighborhood for the right asset type, meaning condos, single-family homes, 2 to 4 flats, whatever the asset type may be. And the same applies for rentals. But today's topic is flipping. So I want to make sure that if you're thinking about flipping, you are focusing on the right markets. That is why not only are we going to give you access to every single report, over 300 reports for flipping or rentals, but also we're going to make the spreadsheet available to you. Because one of my questions was, I don't want to be typing in all the areas that are around where we live and find out, is this a flipping market? Is this a rental market? What type of property should I buy in this market? No. Give me all the flipping markets for single family homes. Boom, there's a spreadsheet. Give me all the top flipping markets for condos in the city. Boom, there's a spreadsheet. And I know from top flipping market, like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, we even know how much you should be paying for those assets in those markets and how much you should be selling it in those markets. So friends, are there any other questions on the line? And then as a bonus, for those of you who are DealVault members, or if you want to sign up today for DealVault, if you don't have it yet, I'm going to make available another very, very cool spreadsheet. It's right here. Since we're talking about flips, this is it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. View, zoom. We're going to zoom. Okay, let me do 110%. Okay, perfect. So this spreadsheet that we came up with is going to give you a framework for you to know whether you should flip or buy and hold the property. Very simple. So for instance, we bought the property. Look how simple this is. We bought the property for 120, 1, 2, 3. We put in 35,000 for the rehab. ARV was 235, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then I'm going to put the numbers for the rental. So we're going to buy it, obviously, for the same price, 120, 1, 2, 3. For the rehab, for the rental, it wouldn't be 35,000. It's going to be more like 25,000, right? Because the quality rehab for a flip is not the same as for a rental. And then monthly income. So if I go back to DealVault, DealVault can tell me how much we're going to be renting the property for. So let me open up the subject property. And then I scroll down to the rental calculator. And it's going to tell me by the cent how much I'm going to be able to rent it for. $1,550, okay? So I'm gonna go back to the spreadsheet. I'm gonna plug in $1,550, $1,550, monthly expenses. So in here, how much are the taxes? Let me go back to DealVault. So the taxes are $208 and insurance 60. So it's gonna be $270 for monthly taxes because the utilities, landscape, snow removal is taken care by the tenant, right? So you only pay for tax and insurance. So it's going to be $270, okay? Right here, $270. And then something that we need to, interest rate, we're going to put in 6. And then let me go into the amortization schedule because I changed it last time. This has to be on a 30-year amortization schedule. I don't know what I have. Okay, so yeah. It's 30 year, perfect. Okay, so let me go back to the flip and hold spreadsheet. Okay, so let's make sure that we got everything right. Yeah, so look at this. This property, this is so cool, so interesting, friends. Think about this. We're gonna be making the profits, it says 51,000. We made like 60,000, 10,000 more, okay? Because we didn't pay much for the selling commission because we used Frank Montrose. So obviously we have a great relationship with him. So we made 60,000. on the flip. But here, look at this. We were gonna cash flow, since we bought it for so little, we're gonna cash flow 497. And in fact, let me just make things equal. Let me make 35,000 for the rehab, just for things to be equal. Okay, we were gonna cash flow 400, over 400 a month. It was so appealing. So there's a rule of thumb that if your net profit from the flip, in this case, 50,000, is greater than your yearly cash flow for 10 years, then you need to flip. In this case, our net profit was, based on the spreadsheet, was 50,000, right? And our net cash flow for 10 years would be 53,000. So therefore it says to hold it. But guess what? Our net profit was not 51,000, was 60,000. So to make it 60,000, I'm gonna need to tweak the ARV. So I'm gonna make it 245, 1, 2, 3. Let me see. Okay, boom, there we go. So ARV 245, that is why, boom, right away the spreadsheet told me to flip it, because if you're gonna make 60,000, which we made, or in cash flow, we would have made 53,000 in 10 years. So this spreadsheet tells you very quickly in seconds whether you should flip it or buy it. So if I knew I was gonna make 60,000 on it, the flip, it was a no-brainer. Especially, I wanna emphasize this, because we made the money very quickly. The rehab took 6 weeks plus market time, 3 weeks. So if you think about it, you're talking about like less than 2.5 months to make 60,000. Therefore, flip is the winner. Does that make sense? But for you to do a successful flip, you need 2 things. Make sure you get these 3 numbers right, you buy it right, you rehab it under budget, and you sell it for top dollars, okay? And second thing that you need, invest in a flipping market for the given asset type. Whether you're gonna do a condo or a single family home, make sure that the market supports a top flipping environment, okay? So the months of housing supply is 2.5 or less. So, which means in 2.5 months or less, the entire inventory is gonna run out, okay? It is that simple, friends. So are there any questions on the line? Where do you find this flip whole deal vault? Just email support? Yeah, Debbie. If you're a deal vault member, we're gonna make this spreadsheet available to you. Mark, how much tax did you pay on the 60,000? Great point. Taxes. That is one of the drawbacks when you do flips. You trigger a tax event. So at the end of the year, you're gonna be paying about 20, depending on what tax bracket you are, this is gonna increase your bottom line, right? When it comes to taxes. So it may put you at a higher tax bracket. So we paid at least 25% on taxes. So think about it, 60,000, knock off 20%, that's like 12,000 at least. So we made roughly 50,000 or 48,000 on it. Still great money in 2.5 months. That is why, to me, flips are super risky, right? Unless you have all the numbers in place in the right market, flips are very risky. So you've got to be very cautious. And guess what? At the end of the day, fine, you made 58,000. It's awesome, right? You better invest that money into rentals, right? Because if you spend that money in short-term pleasures that are gone in an instant, like travel and so forth, guess what? You are not adding significant value in your bottom line, in your net worth. While owning rentals, right, that is increasing your net worth over time. But you may combine both strategies, flips and rentals. We've done very few flips, maybe 3-4 flips, and then we've done mostly rentals. So this is something that you really need to understand to make sure that if you're willing to do flips, that you know your numbers, okay? So another question is, if you reinvest within 90 days, absolutely. That's a great point. So you can do a 1031 exchange. That's what's called. So you have actually more than 90 days. You have 6 months to find the property, and then you have 3 months to actually close on it. But they give you 6 months to find the property, okay? So if you reinvest the money into, let's say, another property, then you don't pay taxes. So that's technically a deferment of taxes. Eventually, when you sell the property, you've got to pay taxes to the government, but you can do a 1031 exchange. Okay, great point. Who brought that up about it was Ross. Yeah, thank you, Ross. Yeah, Debbie, great point. 1031 exchange. That is super critical. And then the next question is, would this not come under capital gains? Yeah, if you do a 1031 exchange, yeah, absolutely. There's deferment, but yeah, capital gains for sure. That's where it comes under. But if you have the property under, let's say, an LLC, an entity, like an S Corp, LLC, those are pass-through entities, okay? You get like Schedule E, pass-through entities that they go back to your personal tax return. So it's capital gain, but it comes down to your bottom line, which may put you in a higher tax bracket, okay? So just keep that in mind. A flip will trigger a tax event. There's no questions about that. If you want to do a flip and not pay taxes, do a 1031 exchange, which pretty much your net gain from that property needs to be reinvested in the next 6 months in another property. Okay, so now another question is, would you do a flip now under current COVID? Absolutely not. In fact, let me tell you, we bought a property, we're gonna flip it in Homewood. We finished that before COVID. There was no way we're gonna sell the property right now. So guess what we did? We rented the property. Maybe in a year, 2 years down the road, we might sell it and flip it. But for now, it became a rental. Not by choice, due to the circumstances that we're going through. So right now, I wanna emphasize, please do not flip. But the reason why I did the flipping webinar is because you've gotta know how to reverse engineer a flip. You've gotta know the flipping markets, because that's gonna need to be part of your toolbox. You've gotta be able to do a flip here and there just to get a big paycheck in not such a long period of time. Does that make sense? So ideally, you combine flips and rentals. Just keep in mind, flips are very risky, but if you know the numbers and you know the markets, then it's a no-brainer. Just like the example that I gave you, it's a no-brainer. So right here, oh, this is another property. We did a wholesaling on it. So we got this property from Wholesaler, 2725 West Iowa. Let me show you this. 2527 West Iowa. That is in a great neighborhood. This is in Ukrainian Village. For those of you who are familiar with Chicago, let me see, did I close this? Let me do a power search. 2725, did I get it right? 27, oh, I got it wrong. It's 2725 West Iowa. Okay, let's do a search. So this property, we bought it for 110 from a wholesaler, and guess how much we sold it for? 198. We bought it for 110. You may wonder, how much did we put into the property? Like 2,000-3,000. So we did a whole tailing. We bought the property for 110 plus closing expenses and cleanup fees. Maybe I would say 120, 125. And then we sold it for 198 in, look how many days. It's ridiculous, guys. In 3 days. When you buy a great deal in a great neighborhood, if you look at the map, just look at the map right here, Ukrainian Village. This is one of the hottest market. Okay, so when you buy a property in a super hot market, you don't even need to do anything to the property. You can just buy it, clean it up, boom, put it into the MLS. This property if you rehab this property, this also had a foundation issue, right? So we were not willing to take on that job because the house was sort of like sinking in towards the back. Anyway, we're not willing to do that type of work, nor do we have the skill set or the means to take on a rehab for over 100,000. This property, if you rehab it, is worth more than 400,000. I mean, Ukrainian Village is hotter than the sun, okay? So that is why in 3 days, as soon as we put it on the market, boom, 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 we got so many offers. I mean, and if you look at these, we listed it for 198 and we got full asking price in 3 days, okay? So we also make good money on that. Just do the math. Over 65, 70,000 on this deal. That happened February this year, okay? So this is an example of wholesaling, where you buy it and then put it back on the MLS right away. And this is exactly what I tried to do on the other one in Archer Heights. But we said, you know, the rehab is not much, and we know we're gonna sell it very, very quickly. So it's totally worth putting in the effort, especially because it was not a gold rehab. It was just a 35,000 rehab. So not much. Does that make sense? But in this case, the rehab was gonna be over 100,000. So there was no way we were gonna take on that project. So there's a question on the line. If train tracks are 3 blocks away from the property, is that too close? Well, absolutely. Yeah, 3 blocks is way too close. Yeah, it's way too close. You're still gonna, and especially you need to see if it's like the commercial train tracks or like the train that brings people in and out. I forgot the name of it. That goes from suburb to suburb. Some of them are very quiet. But if it's like the commercial train that they carry cargo, then it could be very loud. Oh, Metro, yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been out of Illinois, out of Chicago for the last over 2 months now that we're staying in Mexico. So I even forgot. Metro, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Okay, guys. Are there any other questions on flipping? Freight or Metro? Perfect. Thank you, David. So yeah, no, try to stay away from train tracks, cemeteries, rivers. That's a big no-no. It's gonna totally affect your market value, appreciation, big time. People don't like to be too close to a lot of noise, okay? Maybe 5, 10 blocks away, it's actually a plus because then people can walk to transportation. So it's good. Okay, friends, are there any other questions on the line? If not, I want to make sure that you RSVP. We had a great crowd today, 30 people online, so I'm super excited, so proud of you guys on a Sunday. There's another quick question. With Congress stimulus and all the COVID deferments and holding the foreclosures, the main factor that will increase the inventory will be through job market. Will the effect be seen on foreclosures year from now or sooner? Oh, okay, great, Ross, thank you. So this is what's going to happen. Right now, due to forbearance, pretty much you defer your mortgage payments up to 3 months. But guess what? On the 4th month, you've got to pay the entire 4 months. So who's going to be able to do that? That's going to kill a lot of people. So you're going to be seeing a lot of foreclosures. There's going to be a huge wave of foreclosures. Unfortunately, people are going to lose their homes in 3 to 6 months, not a year. In 3 to 6 months, you're going to see the inventory in ChicagoDealVault skyrocketing on foreclosures. It's going to be huge, okay? That is the reason why right now ChicagoDealVault is running 4 webinars a week. I want to make sure that you have the training, you have the tools, you have the technology to be able to pull the trigger when things open up, that you can do flips, you can do pretty much anything, because there's going to be huge opportunities. That is why we're pushing so hard, okay? So make sure that you stay in the pond, as Gary Davidson said. Don't bail out. Right now, you've got to stay on the pond because there are going to be a lot more fish for everyone, every one of you, every one of us who stay in the pond. There's going to be more and bigger fish, okay, and less fishermen on the pond. So make sure that you stick around. Come to our webinar. So right now we have, please, RSVP Tuesday. It's going to be a great webinar. We're going to be talking about probates. Probates is by far the #1 lead pipe, okay? In fact, one of the DealVault members went out to see a property yesterday. It's a probate. It could be a great, amazing deal. So please make sure that you RSVP to the next week's events. Thursday, we did a virtual live property tour. It was so successful a week and a half ago that we're gonna have every week a virtual live property tour. So via 3D technology, we are gonna be able to walk the property. I'm gonna show you what to look for, whether it's a good deal or not a good deal. So we're gonna do thumbs up, thumbs down on the property. So please stay tuned. And then the following week, we're gonna be talking about money. And please, RSVP for the bootcamp. Believe it or not, we have 115 RSVPs right now. People, we're gonna have a huge crowd. I'm estimating we're gonna have over 150 people at this event. We're gonna give you everything, the blueprint for freedom, from wholesaling, flipping, rentals, everything, our secret sauce, our strategies, our resources, how the pros think, how the pros get home run deals. I'm gonna share that with all of you on May 31st. Please make sure that you RSVP. Just to quickly show you, I'm sure you might feel like this. I've been giving you so much information lately, but guys, how many of you have learned something new today? How many of you have been reminded of something new today? So I want to make sure that I'm going to give you everything because very soon you're going to need to pull the trigger, and I want to make sure that every one of you is ready. I want to make sure that everyone is successful today, not tomorrow, in 3, 5, so many months. No, today. That is why I'm here with you. I'm going to give it all to you. Okay. So friends, I just want to emphasize, if you have not RSVP, please make sure that there's RSVP to the event. We're going to talk about fundamentals, how to set up your business, how to apply for business credit cards, getting a line of credit, and then we're going to be covering wholesaling, virtual wholesaling, you know, how to get the leads, marketing strategies. We're going to give you the cold scripts. Even we're going to give you interviews from Dan Carlton, you know, doing a successful appointment on a deal. You're going to understand best practices on wholesaling, and then we're going to move on to fix and flip. You know, you're going to understand flip spreads. We're going to touch on the top flipping markets again. We're going to talk about whether you should flip or rent on a property. You should be able to analyze deals in minutes, if not seconds, okay? Most importantly, we're going to show you how to overcome the lack of money and credit on flips. We're going to talk about creative financing. And then obviously, I'm going to give you the scope of work, spreadsheet, how to avoid common mistakes. We're going to break down the rehabbing process. Make sure that you don't go over budget and you use the appropriate resources. And then rentals, my favorite topic, right? We're going to show you how you built $1 million empire. We own 29 rentals in 2.5 years. I'm going to give you the secret, how not only you find those great deals, how you are going to fund them, and most importantly, how to have very little money stuck in the property. So you recycle the money. So we're going to give you the recycle money formula on this event. Obviously, we're going to talk about the hot rental markets, and then we're going to close with talking about property management. And most importantly, we're going to have breakout rooms. Having so many people, I don't want to burn your cells, so we're going to do a breakout room. So you're going to have the opportunity to speed network, build relationship, network, partner up, and we're going to be talking about partnerships, joint ventures. So it's going to be an awesome event. make sure that you RSVP and get access to DealVault for free, okay? So email to get the top spreadsheets. So we're gonna start charging now 25 over 125 people, and then once we hit 150, they're gonna pay $50, okay? So now to RSVP, I'm gonna send you the link, okay? Now another question is, always learn something new. I've invested in ChicagoDealVault earlier. So awesome, thank you, Ken. Will the bootcamp run continuously or have breaks in between? We're gonna have breaks. You know how I'm gonna do it, guys? I'm gonna tell you the secret. I'm gonna do it like the TED Talks, okay? TED Talks, they cannot go over 18 minutes because after 18 minutes, your brain's burned. So we're gonna do a speed networking every 18 minutes. I'm gonna give you a break, okay? So this is the link to get DealVault for free. So right here, make sure that you fill this out. I'm gonna send this to everyone. So here, get it for free. And then for the package, make sure that you select Special Chicago DealVault. DealVault, okay? And then for the promo code, select Flips, okay? You're gonna get it free for 30 days. And what's really critical, friends, if you're attending the bootcamp, you must have access to DealVault, because I want to make sure that everything that I talk and cover on that day doesn't go over your head. I need you to have already exposure to ChicagoDealVault. Like for instance, if you already have DealVault, you're gonna know all these area reports. And in fact, when I show you live, you can do that on your laptop, right? So you must have access to DealVault. It's free for 30 days, okay? So if you're attending the bootcamp, make sure that you have access to DealVault. You need to have a step ahead, right, of the game. When I talk about certain things, we're gonna make sure that we train you on DealVault even before the bootcamp, okay? So when you join the bootcamp, nothing goes over your head. Everything you're gonna grasp, and you're gonna get a lot more of the bootcamp when you already have access to DealVault. Start playing with it, and we're gonna make sure that you get trained on it before then. Now, for instance, Debbie, if you found a great property, please send it to us in DealVault. You see this red button on the top, upper right-hand corner, Ask a Pro. Send us a message, send us the address, send us everything, and then we're gonna look at it. So please let us know if you have a great deal that we need to take action. Let us know, we'll help you, we'll give you the resources to assist. So please do so. And then make sure that you RSVP right here. I'm gonna put it on the chat, RSVP for bootcamp, So this is the link for the bootcamp, okay? And also download our app. So all you need to do is send a text to 818, and then type in the keyword DealVault, okay? It's just an incredible app with over 100 training videos. It's just, we call this DealVault Academy, okay? The key thing is that it's in a sequential manner. So it's not all scattered. Make sure that you download it. Debbie, thank you for the question. So we had an issue with the app. It should be fixed. It's going to be deployed Monday. So tomorrow, download it tomorrow. Thank you, Debbie, for bringing that up. There was an upgrade that we needed to make on it. So RSVP for the bootcamp, you're going to get a confirmation, and please get DealVault for free for 30 days. I want to make sure that you're a step ahead of the game. When I cover and do the bootcamp on every single thing that you need to know, you've got to have access to all the technology already, all the lead pipes, so things don't go over your head. So friends, are there any other questions on the line that I can help you answer? So I want to thank you for joining today's webinar. Tomorrow you're going to get the replay, and please start doing flips.